In this lesson, we'll use Minitab to calculate quartiles 1, 2, and 3, as well as the interquartile range for a data set. We'll use Try It Yourself number 2 on page 102 out of Larson's Elementary Statistics. I'll also show you how to interpret each of the quartiles and the interquartile range. We're given the tuition costs in thousands of dollars for 25 universities. In order to calculate the quartiles, we're going to use the descriptive statistics function in Minitab. We've already seen how to do this once, but we'll use it again. Go into Minitab and name your column. I like to name a column something relative to whatever I'm doing, so in this case I'm going to name it tuition. And you simply start entering your data. Enter each piece of data in its own individual cell and hit enter after each entry. I already have the data completely entered in another worksheet, but I wanted to show you how you would enter them one at a time. So I'm going to click on the worksheet where I have it already entered. Once you have your data entered, click on Stat, then Basic Statistics, then Display Descriptive Statistics. From there, you can double-click on Tuition, which is the column that holds your data. That will transfer the tuition into the variables box. You also would have had the option to highlight tuition and click on Select. From there, you click on Statistics. This opens up the box that lets you tell Minitab which calculations you want it to do. In this case, we're only interested in quartiles and interquartile range, so I'm going to uncheck everything else because I'm not really interested in anything else. I want the first quartile, the median, the third quartile, and the interquartile range. Now the reason I checked median is because the median is also the same thing as quartile 2. I then click OK. Click OK again, and Minitab gives me the information that I want. So quartile 1 is equal to 17. Quartile 2 is 23. Quartile 3 is 28.5. And the interquartile range is 11.5. Now remember, these are given in thousands of dollars. So how do we interpret this information? Quartiles divide our data that is in order into 4 equal parts. And in these parts, about 1/4 of the data fall on or below the first quartile. About half the data fall on or below the second quartile. And about 3/4 of the data fall on or below the third quartile. So in order to interpret this, that's telling me where 25%, half, and 50%, and 75% of the data fall. So in our tuition data, I can say that about 1/4 of the tuition costs are about $17,000 or less. Because remember, that data was in thousands of dollars, and Q1 was at 17. I can say that 1/2 of the tuition costs are $23,000 or less. Similarly, 3/4 of the tuition costs are $28,500 or less. The interquartile range of data is a measure of variation focused specifically on the middle 50% of data. The interquartile range tells us how much that middle 50% of data is going to vary. It's the difference between the third and first quartile. So I can say that the tuition in the middle of the data is going to vary at most by $11,500. So that's how we're going to use Minitab to calculate our measures of position. And that's how we're going to interpret those measures of position when we need to apply them to an actual set of data.